18 after 7, 1.2 billion rand. That's the disaster relief amount that's going to help assist municipalities that have been devastated by recent floods. The hardest hit provinces were the Eastern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga and Limpopo. However, this funding, of course, will come with strict conditions. Municipalities must fully account for previously allocated disaster funds or risk having this new critical support withheld. To help us understand what is at stake, we are joined, as I promised, by the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Minister Velenkosini Hlabisa. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome back and thank you for your time.
Good morning, Bongani, and the listeners of the radio station.
All right, before we talk rands and cents, perhaps can you paint a picture of the devastation that has occurred in these provinces and some of the worst affected areas?
The disasters of February was made worse by the disasters of June this year. The June disaster alone, we have received the assessment of 6.3 billion. And our technical team, engineers and financial experts are on the ground doing verification. And on the 5th of August, we will make further allocation of money once the 6.3 billion has been verified. It has been a great damage. It will involve a huge amount of money. And we are very aware, as we learned during the COVID-19, when there is money that becomes available as a disaster, and it, most cases fall into the wrong hands.
Minister,
we are going to be vigilant.
Allow me to interrupt. We'll certainly get to those details, but just give me a sense, because many of us who are in Gauteng, for example, may not necessarily know about some of the damage. Before we talk about the money, I just want to have a sense of just how extensive was the damage. We're talking now infrastructure, perhaps even lives that have been lost. In other words, what is this money going to go and do?
Okay. No, Bongani, let me start firstly in terms of human souls. The latest disaster is 107 people who died, 103 in Eastern Cape, 3 in KwaZulu-Natal, and 1 in Western Cape. The infrastructure is a huge damage. Roads, bridges, schools, community halls, and individual people's properties, homes were washed away. And both KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape, it is very bad.
You've already then mentioned, you've reminded us of what happened during COVID-19. How are you going to make sure that what municipalities claim has happened is really the case?
The first thing that we will do, there are municipalities in 2024, 1.2 billion was released, and on March 31 this year, we released 2.3 billion. All the municipalities that became recipients must give a full account how they use that money. Some of them, they informed us that the 31 March allocation is still in their bank accounts. They are still busy with the procurement. It is taking too long though, because money is with them and it's a long time now. And all of them will have to account where the money went to, and we are going to verify the projects. And if we don't find the project, we are not going to release this new allocation to them, but we are not going to punish the communities. Instead, we will go a road of appointing service providers to fix the damage that occurred in our communities. But it will not end there. We will follow it up. If it means opening criminal cases, we will do so, because we won't allow what happened during COVID-19. We have set up 2 structures. one structure is going to verify every time when a report comes back. They will go down on the ground, engineers, financial people, to compare the value for money in terms of project. If we are not satisfied, we will do an extensive investigation. And we are going to lay the playing field clear for everyone. I'm going to have a meeting with all premiers, with all MECs, and all municipalities that are going to receive this money to lay these ground rules so that no one would say we were never warned before even the money was released.
Minister, would it not be better, perhaps, because you're talking about municipalities who, for one reason or another, even when the money has been released, sit on it for longer than they should, because it's only then that perhaps they're scrambling for service providers. There are, of course, concerns about corruption, because at times it isn't that the service providers are there, but perhaps only certain service providers must get the tenders or get the business. Would it not be better to serve these communities by creating a centralized disaster relief agency that will come outside of the influence of local politics and local corruption and be able to deal with things as they happen on the ground across the country?
The law as it stands now, Bongani, says the money must be released to the affected municipality. We are reviewing the disaster management system. We will make new proposals in terms of intervening and use the case studies that the money stayed for 10 months in these municipalities and eventually disappeared. So now a new approach must be done in order to be agile. When money is available, immediate intervention is done. But as you know, Bongani, you can't change a law overnight because it takes a process, but we are working on it.
Yeah, I'm thinking in the US, I think they've got FEMA, right? The Federal Emergency Management Agency. And these are people who then become expert at dealing with particular disasters because this is what they deal with all the time. We've got municipalities that can hardly manage their own books under normal circumstances. I wonder if it is not too much to expect them to do so when there is a disaster afoot. How are you going to ring fence the funds then and make sure that there are no people who dip their fingers into the pot?
For now, while we are reviewing the disaster management system to exactly do what you are saying, this money is reported separately by each municipality, and they provide a bank statement to demonstrate that the money is still available in the bank. As I'm saying, currently there are those who are submitting proof that we haven't used it, but we are busy with the procurement process, and we are not going to allow it to go more than 10 months. Because we will say, you are unable to use this money, we will recall that money and use and appoint the service providers to do that because we have given them money. It's unlike that we just simply deviate, having not given them. But those who are not going to account, we are not going to release money at all.
All right, we'll leave it there. Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Minister Velenkosini Hlabisa, appreciate your time. 1.2 billion rand in disaster relief funding for many municipalities affected by recent disasters in terms of floods and other climate events. Do you have confidence from what you just heard there that A, even if the money isn't stolen, it will be spent properly? Or do you think some of these delays are about making sure the connected people are the ones who get the business to fix, to build, right? Because if you're in a disaster, how long should it take you to procure relief for communities who are desperate? Shouldn't that be dealt with urgency? These are the same municipalities who consistently have qualified audits, right? These are the same municipalities, I beg your pardon, that are often run by financial managers who don't know what they're doing, and so consultants are brought in to balance the books because the Auditor General might be coming. And there's R1 billion here, R1 billion there, R1 billion more. Do you think it's going to go where it should? Let us know.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.